Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast.
Have you ever heard the phrase, nurses eat their young?
Feeding Our Young is more than a podcast, it's a movement.
It's a desire to see new nurses of all ages be supported and uplifted by their peers. And it starts with me, it starts with you.
So join host Eric Miller, registered nurse of nearly 20 years and adjunct clinical instructor, and today's honored guest, me, Ainsley Nelson.
And me, Vanessa Lester.
And be ready to have your life uplifted so you can, in turn, uplift others. Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Feeding Our Young podcast. Today we're going to cover all topics A to V. Yeah, that's what I said. A to V. Not A to Z. Because today I have two of the most amazing human beings in studio. You're going to love them. And I think the A to V is going to become obvious when they give us their names. I'm not even going to give you their names. I'm going to let them do that. So without further ado, hi guys, welcome to studio. How are you?
Hello. Good.
Happy Saturday morning. So for listeners' benefit, we have two students with us who are taking time on their spring break, near the end of spring break, on a Saturday morning when they could be watching cartoons or doing other more serious things. Instead, they're talking nursing, probably the last thing they want to talk about. So that is the sacrifice they're making, and I can't thank you guys enough. Without further ado, who are you?
My name is Ainsley.
I'm Vanessa.
Oh, awesome. And what school do you guys happen to go to?
We go to Gonzaga University Nursing. Yeah.
I've heard good things about that school. I think I want to teach there someday.
You totally should. I think it would be a good fit.
It'd be so fun. All right. So where are you guys from? Where is home for each of you?
I'm from Spokane Valley, so I grew up in this area.
I'm from Whidbey Island, Washington, so it's like 6 hours west Spokane.
And where is that in relation to Seattle, which is where most people are going to know?
Oh, okay. So it's like still 2 hours north.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this state that we live in. All right. So before we get into the meat of the matter, what are the 3 words each of you chose to describe nursing school?
Okay, I did demanding, rewarding, and absurd.
And let me qualify that. On the form that she sent back, it actually says demanding, so rewarding, and absurd.
So rewarding, yes.
At least it wasn't so absurd. And Vanessa?
I said revealing, tiring, and also rewarding.
Ooh, intriguing. And 3 of each of your favorite songs in life right now.
I said, okay, I love Revelation song, but right now I'm obsessed with Gateway Worship's version. I just think it's so beautiful. And then I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan, and my favorite song right now is Don't We. And then I'm also a rock fan, so Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. We got a lot of music taste.
I love the spread.
I also did like 3 genres too. I did No One Like the Lord / What a Beautiful Name. Then I did Lover Girl by La Fay. I think that's how you say her name. And then Vienna by Billy Joel, because that's like all-time favorite.
Oh my gosh, old souls. I absolutely love it. So with that, you guys, there's a lot of fluff questions I can ask to start. We'll do a few of them because I love the answers you guys gave to this. But yeah, then we want to dive into what we want to talk about here today because you guys have so many amazing things to talk about. So let's just talk hobbies, first of all. When nursing school is not all consuming, what are the things you guys are doing to pass your free time?
I play the guitar. I've been playing the guitar since I was in 7th grade, but my grandpa tried to get me to learn how to play it when I was like 5, and I was just like, no. I can't do that. But then I ended up picking it up on my own, and I love it. So that's like my biggest thing. But then also, I love reality TV.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what I do that's how I procrastinate, basically. I watch reality TV.
Okay, I I love dancing. I did ballet my whole life, and then I decided to try out for Gonzaga dance team, which is not ballet, at all, but it's still super fun. So that's like my number one. I spend a lot of time, yeah, with the girls there, so it's super fun. I also love reading. Right now, I'm reading The Midwife of Auschwitz, and yeah, it's been super good so far. And then I just watch like a lot of YouTube, a lot. And it's like a lot of Dr. Mike, and then yeah.
And then whatever else
Yeah.
filters its way in
And
there.
then whatever else like yeah, he happens to be in, I just watch.
I love it. And you just recently, because of the dance team, you just traveled somewhere, yes? Was that correct?
Yes, I went to Vegas with the dance team for the WCC tournament. It was so much fun. We spent a lot of time together and a lot of laughing, so
That is awesome. And I
yeah.
just can't believe that you guys have time for your like these hobbies amidst nursing school. You're not dedicated to studying 24/7?
We should be.
Should you though?
No.
I think balance
No.
balance is a great thing, and I think that that's
Yeah.
awesome that you guys model that there. So, both of you guys come from amazing families. What do you want to share about that?
Well, my family, they are definitely my biggest support system. Um, my parents are, they're just, I mean, they're great. They just literally are the reason that I'm able to go to Gonzaga, which I'm just so grateful for them. And my grandpa, he is also a really big like motivator for me, and he always speaks like, I don't know, just wisdom, and he always just tells me I'm doing so great even when I feel like I'm not. So it definitely helps
Mhm.
motivate me to like do good in school, which is really nice. And they always love to hear about what's going on in school and life and everything. And then my fiance, he's also amazing. He I feel like he can be a nurse because he knows every single drug I've studied pretty much. He knows what to do for a boggy uterus. I'm telling you. He
Yes, he
could be a
does.
nurse.
Let's go.
Ask him any question and he knows it.
I would say my family, yeah, is definitely the same way. My parents both are so encouraging, and the reason I'm able to go to nursing school, but also just like seeing how they both work so hard. Like my mom has always been a stay-at-home mom. That's her dream job though, but she works so hard and she's so good at it that I'm like, and then my dad's the same way, just always working hard and encouraging me to do so. And so I feel like in nursing school, it's a lot of just like it is so demanding. So I feel like that it's a really good support system to have. And then I have three brothers, and they're great. I am so glad I'm the only girl because it's so fun to be like, I don't know. It just feels like they're all so protective and I love it. But yeah, and then my boyfriend as well is also super supportive and just so fun. He's a great person to go to after like a lot of like studying and stuff just to hang out and yeah.
That's awesome. Does he also know how to handle a boggy uterus?
So actually I did ask him, Vanessa and I did this like five questions to ask like non-nursing students. And there was like a lot of really interesting things he said, and they were all very wrong. So
Oh,
the boggy uterus one, I think he said stick a pill
Oh
up
yeah.
up
places,
there.
which is definitely not right, but
Okay. I mean, A for effort, though. A for effort.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's amazing. And then there's one last ice-breaking question that I want to ask you because you both answered it. I loved your guys' answers to that. But what day of your lives would you like to relive?
Okay, first one is my boyfriend and I's first date. He took me horseback riding, and then he like made my favorite meal of all time, which was waffles. And I don't know. It was like everything I loved in one day. So definitely that. Or riding mopeds with my mom in Italy. That was
Oh,
so much fun. And at the top of this like hill, we got like wine and pasta, and it was just like so good.
idyllic.
Yes.
I would definitely relive the day that I got engaged because it was, I don't know, it was just so fun. I had a feeling it was coming because like a few days before he texted me and he was like, so I'm gonna take you out to dinner, but you don't get to ask questions and you don't get to know where or what we're doing. So I was like, okay, like my girl brain was like, okay, he's gonna ask me to marry him. And he ended up asking me. But we went to dinner at Anthony's in Coeur d'Alene, and then we went and looked at the Christmas lights. And it was
Oh,
freezing, but it was so cute. And it was just us, which I loved. So it was amazing.
incredible. Oh, you guys, I
Very
love it.
exciting.
That is awesome. And I love that you guys have these shared experiences, you know, obviously within nursing school and all the things. But let's just start right there because obviously you guys are doing this together because you're like BFFs, as I understand it.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? How did Vanessa's like, this is why it's not a video podcast. She's like holding up the big old X. No, no, not at all. What are you doing? No, like how did you guys meet and how does this friendship, like this strong friendship form?
I think I reached out first because I was like desperately trying to find a roommate freshman year. And so senior summer, I was like, I reached out to so many people, and Vanessa was like one of like two who have responded. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, well, I live in Spokane, so I can't be a roommate." And in my head, I was like, "Dang, Vanessa would have been perfect, but it's fine, it's fine." Um, and then we said we'd meet at Gel or something, and then she ended up not going, which is fine.
No, I was there.
Oh,
We just were in different groups, so we
oh yeah,
never.
we were in different groups, so I never saw
Scandalous. This
her.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
so I never saw her, but we were really trying to like meet up. Never ever met that day. And then we ended up having this class together that was just like
Not real.
just not real. It was absurd. So we then we just like ended up kind of laughing about this class, and then we got into eighth semester together and then just continued to like hang out and be friends, and then now we live together.
Wow, that's incredible. Vanessa,
Yeah,
do you remember this in any different way or is there anything you want to add?
probably.
No. I remember it the same exact way. I sat behind her in stats, and our teacher called her Ainsley,
Yeah. And
and Vanessa, that was my name.
Vanessa.
And it was just a really funny class because he was just himself, and he's
Yeah.
just a funny guy. So, yeah, that's how we became friends, and then we just got lunch, and then here we are now.
I'm going to reach for the low hanging fruit here and ask the obvious question, but how does this friendship help in nursing school?
I honestly could not do nursing school without Ainsley because she is just like it gives me someone to relate to with literally everything, and someone to study with and to go over things with, and it just helps you feel not alone to have somebody super close. I always have somebody to sit with, which is nice. And we also work so well together in clinical. Like when we're paired up for stuff, it's like things go so smoothly and we learn a lot together. So, and it makes it a little bit more fun.
I totally agree. I feel like I would not be able to do it. Or I'd feel a lot more lonely without Vanessa. Also I think like it's so therapeutic to have someone who like is still so joyful after like a long clinical day. Like I don't know how, but she always makes me laugh, and then the laughing continues until we get home, which is so good for me because I need that. Like I need to feel like after a long day it's just been like really good and to laugh and get it all out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of that release valve, for lack of a better term, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So then I mean, you guys wouldn't know each other if it weren't for being in nursing school and all the things. So why'd you choose nursing? How did you guys end up here?
Okay. So I guess I have like two different things, but first one is my babysitter. This kind of goes into another topic, but she definitely is a huge like role model for me, who I've tried to step into like everything she's done in her path to nursing. She went to Gonzaga, and then she just did so amazing and got the like practicum she wanted at a NICU in Seattle, and then got a job there. And I think the way she went about nursing school was great. Um she just always had a great, I love this. This is definitely for me. And that was so inspiring to me that the whole time, even though it was hard, she never wavered. And is this really for me? Is this not? And so um, I think that was just a great role model for me to see. And then also, when I was younger, my brother was super sick when I was in fourth grade. And I think the biggest takeaway for me there, other than all the brother love feelings and stuff, was the nurses were amazing. Genuinely, my parents still talk and they remember the names of all of them, even though it was such a long time ago. So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, I just love helping people, and that was my biggest motivator for sure. But when I was in, I think, middle school, I took my first like human science class, and I thought it was super interesting just learning how much our bodies do. So that was what pushed me to take biomed in high school. And then in that class, my teacher would bring in nurses and different kinds of like people to talk to us about their jobs and what they get to do. And so that's when I decided I wanted to be a nurse.
That's
So,
awesome. Oh, I love it. And then here you guys are. You've met each other. You've made best friends because of this. And what will hopefully be an incredibly rewarding career. I know where I'm going with this, which is why I'm chuckling. This question is for Ainsley only. I don't ask scandalous questions on this podcast, but I'm going to, for the first time ever, ask the most scandalous question ever that'll make every professor and peer cringe when they hear me ask this, and it is the following. Ainsley, what is it that you don't like about Gonzaga?
Okay. I was so nervous where this was going, and I had no idea. Okay, it has nothing to do with Gonzaga itself. However, I just like sometimes when I'm walking to class and it's 20 degrees outside, and I know I'm about to be in class and it's gonna be a hard class, and I'm already just like, oh, it's gonna be rough. I don't want to be like freezing and possibly snowing or hailing. So I would say like if Gonzaga were in Hawaii, it would be the best, most perfect dream of mine. So yeah. I have something to add.
Yeah.
This, since we can't like pick up Gonzaga and transplant it to Hawaii, I wish that there were more green parking spots closer to buildings.
Oh, that's
Because
another
there's
one.
literally none. And they're taking up all of the green parking spots with the
Yeah.
electric vehicle chargers. And so they're getting rid of all of our parking. And so then we're just forced to walk really far in the snow or get tickets.
Exactly, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no. Well, there we are. That's the most scandalous side of Gonzaga anyone will ever hear on
Yes.
this podcast. But I did ask it for a reason too. Without, we're not touting Gonzaga specifically, but how do each of you end up at this university? Because I'm assuming you both had multiple choices.
Well, like I said, I grew up in Spokane, so Gonzaga's been a really big part of just everything. During March Madness, teachers would always put it on during class because everybody loves Gonzaga. So Gonzaga was not my first choice. WSU was my first choice because I didn't think I could get into Gonzaga.
Ah.
So I applied just for fun because I was like, there's no way. Like, it's such a competitive program because it's direct admit. And so then I got in and I was like, okay, so can I go to Gonzaga? And my parents were like, yeah, let's do it. And so, yeah, I was very excited because I was like, there's no way I can get in there. And
But
then I
for
did.
but for you, you were always going to stay in town, like Eastern Washington, like those
Yeah,
opportunities.
I really did not want to go to Pullman, but that was why it was my second choice, is because I'd rather go to Pullman than go to like Seattle, because
Yeah.
then I would be in Spokane for the last 2 years.
Gotcha.
So
I like since my brother went and then since the nurse, my babysitter that I was talking about went, Gonzaga was number one since seventh grade. And I know why now. I love Gonzaga, love
Yeah.
it. But in the moment, I'm like, why? I have no idea why. I think it was just going there and visiting. And then also, I just thought my babysitter was the best. Amazing. So I think I just always thought Gonzaga was number one.
Yeah.
And I knew nursing was so good there. But I had applied to like Penn State and then just to try, and then like Colorado or something like that. Just if I decided last minute I'd want to go out of state, but I knew I wanted to stay in state, and yeah, so I definitely chose my number one.
So then, but being from that side of the state, no consideration with like UW or anything like that, because I know there's also quite a few nursing programs on the west
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, I love direct admit. And so I liked the idea that like for 4 years you'll be with the same, you'll be with those people. And
Yep.
like I just loved that. I did not like UW. I didn't want to have that pressure 2 years in at all.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
you guys are in nursing school, and I mean, in the midst of it, right? Like you guys are going through the thick of it right now. Second semester, junior year. So we've established where we are on the timeline, everybody. What do you guys love most about nursing school, just in general?
I would say just you learn everything in lab, of course, and it's fun to like. I remember starting learning med admin and learning how to like draw up injections and stuff, and I was so excited. Like I felt like a real nurse. And then they have you like do it in a fake arm, and it's like, okay, well, when does a real people stop, like when do I get to do it on real people? So I think it's the coolest part is learning skills in lab on like pieces of plastic and then doing it on real people is just like so cool.
Hmm.
I really like the hands-on of it all.
Very cool.
Yeah. I definitely think the clinical aspect is definitely my favorite. It's just like I feel like I go in saying to myself, okay, yeah, these are real patients, but not until you're actually in the room where I'm like, oh, like this will be me in a few years where I have my own patient and I have like it's just so real to be in clinical and it I don't know, it kind of is something to get used to, but it's so fun to start meeting people and meeting patients and then watching nurses and how they go about things and then how they teach you and you're like and they teach you easier ways to do it. I think that's great too. Like I love seeing how someone who's been doing it for 20 years is like, let me just teach you a really simple, easy way to do this. So, yeah, I think definitely hands on, I agree with. And then also, like, I love just the people I'm around, our cohort. I just think we have a lot of fun and I love seeing them. Um, yeah, I love seeing them every day and all the inside jokes and stuff. So,
Oh, yeah, you guys do have an incredible cohort. And I mean, every cohort that I've had the honor of working with, it's just, they're always my favorite until the next one. Then they're my favorite. And so there's a lot of people tied for favorites right now. So both of you guys seem to be like, you kind of have this bent towards the practical, hands-on, clinical, all of that aspect of it, which is so incredible. And the opposite of how I was in nursing school, where I was like, oh, book smart stuff, like I feel like I can try and I felt comfortable with that, not good at it, but comfortable with it. Whereas like going into clinical, having no experience whatsoever before, I was always terrified. And so my question to you guys is, with having that sort of bent towards the clinical side of things, is there any sort of, does that mean the classroom side of things are harder for the two of you? Or even if they're not, what, like, how do you guys get through the classroom side of things then?
I feel like it might not be as it it's not harder. It's just like I feel like maybe I don't know how to answer this, but they just feel longer for some reason. It's a lot of lecturing or maybe not being able to actually try the skills sometimes because there's so many people. Definitely not in a bad way. I feel like all the professors, I love all the professors and we still have so much fun. I just think it's not as hard or just not as enticing, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously lecture is so valuable and you learn things and then you use that in clinical. And I just feel like lecture brings more stress than clinical too, because at clinical, we're under the supervision of a nurse. So it's not like we're doing crazy things, you know? I mean, we're getting to do stuff and learn stuff, but we're not the actual nurse yet. We're just like observing and trying things. In lecture, it's just like test, test, test. And that's really stressful. And
Mhm.
that is also what takes up most of our time outside of class. So,
I think one thing that I think is super interesting is especially for OB lecture is we would Vanessa and I had talked about it, but we'd see something in clinical and then the next week we're learning about postpartum and learning about the problem that a patient had. That like is definitely super interesting and really cool. Because then it like explains what we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really interesting when they like really align, and it happens a lot. So it's cool.
And I think that's awesome, and that's a good point that you guys bring out. Is, you know what I mean? There's the what, you're seeing the what in real time with your real patients and all the things. And maybe if you've had that lecture already, you have the why, but if you don't, you're gonna get it. And so then that marrying, and that's what I love about seeing like nursing students go from day one all the way to finishing practicum and graduating. Like when we say you are going to, like, I can't even explain the feeling when you just are like, oh, I actually can do this. Like, you're still terrified, you're still nervous, you're still whatever, but you know that you have the confidence of like, okay, I understand a lot of the whys and the whats, and I've seen a lot of whats, and so therefore I feel like I can actually hit the floor and do this thing called nursing, which is so cool. I appreciate you guys sharing that and all of those things and all the great things you love about nursing school. But also, as I understand it, I would think that you, like every other human being on the face of the planet, face challenges during this whole thing. So what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced?
I think for me, it's mostly like balancing school with friends and family and time for myself because, well, like my family, they want to see me, but I'm like, well, I really need to study for this test. But then I also made plans to hang out with Ainsley, but then I also really need to study for this test. But then I also want to
Hmm.
watch Jersey Shore. So it's like, what do I do? So I feel like that's a really big thing for me. Another thing is my family. I feel like I feel a lot of pressure about getting good grades
Hmm.
from like my parents and stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because they just want me to do good, but it does stress me out a lot because I feel like if I don't get like a 95, they're gonna like be really mad at me or disappointed in me. And so um that really stresses me out sometimes, but I've just kind of talked to them about that and told them that it stresses me out, and I set boundaries with them and I told them, "Don't ask me about my grades or when my tests are. If I want to tell you about it, I'll tell you about it, but you asking me really stresses me out."
Uh,
So,
I think that's super important. That word you used there, setting boundaries. And I happen to get, I don't know her parents super well, but I know them well enough to know that likely that's coming from a good place, right, Vanessa? Like you said, they want
yeah,
you to do great,
for sure.
and all parents, hopefully, obviously not all parents, but hopefully most parents do care. But on that note, and it's been espoused many times on this podcast with many different people that I've talked to, instructors and students alike, where it's like, again, the old adage of like, I have in 19 years, I've had zero people ask me, hey, what was your GPA? Hey, what did you, if I'm in there for a respiratory issue, I'm not like, hey, what percentage did you get on your respiratory exam in nursing school? I don't give a care. You're there, you've proven yourself. And
Hmm.
that's the important thing. You need to pass. You absolutely need to pass. But beyond that, who cares? So I appreciate you
Hmm.
bringing that up. And again, that's a shout out to all parents out there who may listen to this. Maybe there's some students who are going to be like, hey, mom, dad, listen to this episode with Ainsley and Vanessa, because I need you to hear what they have to say. So anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to kind of jump in there, but was there anything you wanted to add, Vanessa, or is it turning it over to Ainsley at
Well,
this point?
I just wanted to add, a very wise man once told me that B's stand for balance. So I have taken that into consideration.
That is so insightful.
Oh,
I
sounds
wonder
so,
who said that.
it sounds like some Confucius, probably Confucius. No, I legit just stole that straight up from the lovely Sue Perkins. So her episode, go way back, everybody. Go hunt out Sue Perkins' episode. It's hard to hear,
Shout out.
but she's so amazing, and that was one of her key things that she would teach all of her students, was that B's are for balance, and even then, that whole C's get degrees. I don't know if Gonzaga does it this way, but I mean, obviously, like choice of practicum and things like that. Some universities do it based on your
Hmm.
ATI score, some do it based on your GPA. So yeah, there's an element of that, but legit, even if you don't get the practicum you want, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? You get
Yeah.
6-8 weeks somewhere, and then you're gonna hopefully go into the careers you want to do. So again,
Yeah.
I think the key takeaway here is take that extra added stress off yourself. And maybe that's where that balance comes in, where you're like, I do get to hang out with my best friend. I do get to go see my family. I do get to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I do get to watch Jersey Shore. You know what I mean? Even if it's just to cleanse the mind from all the information you're trying to cram into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ainsley.
Yeah. Hey, biggest challenge. This is such an odd segue, or I don't know how to segue into this.
Do you need me to give you a hand, or are you?
I would love a hand. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Okay, wait. That's perfect now.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
guys. I know where she's going with this, and we're not making light of anything at all. So, Ainsley, you have the floor.
It is
You
so
share
helpful.
what you want to share.
I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, I was born with amniotic band syndrome. So my right hand has, I don't know how to describe it. Whenever I describe it to people, it's like in total it's like 2 fingers, but it's not. It's 4 half fingers, kind of quarter fingers. But yeah, so born with that. And then growing up, it was never something that was an insecurity of mine. I never had challenges with it, especially I like my family just loves my hand. My best friend, she loves holding it, she loves playing with it. It's just never been an insecurity or challenge. Vanessa also loves it so much. And so I just, yeah, growing up, it was just something that was a part of me. I think also going to school with the same people from elementary to high school, I had answered all questions that I had to answer about it in like elementary school. And I think that was something that I didn't have to deal with for a long time just
Yeah.
because like all the questions and all the looking. And that was something that definitely bothered me in elementary school. Going to a new school was like just I can see people looking, and I'd love for people to ask about it instead. Like that is something I appreciate so much. Um and so I feel like the looks was really hard for me when I was younger. And so then it was just something I didn't deal with for a long time. And then coming to college, I like it wasn't even a thought in my mind because it's just so a part of who I am that I totally was not thinking that probably every single person who wants to be my friend is going to ask about it or is going to look at it. And so college at the beginning was really like I definitely like subconsciously hit it or something. Like I would sit on it in class or something, like sit on my hand. Um, and so I just never, I was not prepared for that, which I think if I was more prepared, it would have been a lot easier for me. But I think the transition was hard. I'm very lucky to have friends who, when they do ask, it's so respectful. It's not something that's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" It's more
Yeah.
just like, "Can I like," and it always starts, I know people are about to ask when they're like, "I don't want to offend you." And I'm like, "Okay, so I know it's coming." But I think everyone's so respectful about it, all my friends. But it is something that I just got more insecure about as college went on, especially in nursing school. It's like literally your test is your professor watching your hands. Like,
Yeah.
and like with sterile technique, they are watching your hands so much so that you're not breaking sterile technique. That in my head, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to talk about this right now. I really don't want them to see this. Like, it just like was more of an insecurity for me. And with skills it's themselves, staying sterile is very hard for me because the gloves go so far off of my
Yes.
fingers that they just touch everything. But so I think a huge challenge has been just not trying to hide as much and just being full in on all my skills in clinical and in lab and stuff. Yeah, and like during clinical, I know I had a skill with you that I did in clinical where I was uh, doing the fundal check. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I really like right now, I just want to be focused. I don't want the patient to ask. But then when it had come up in the room, I was like, I actually really enjoy talking about it. So I don't know why I've been so hesitant. And so I think just the questions has been hard. Hiding it has been a challenge for me. Um, and skills, but I think I'm still learning, but I'm learning to just be more, I guess, confident in what I'm doing. And when people ask, just having that confidence and not trying to hide. Um, and I have been so lucky with my friends who just in college who love it and encourage me. And also, all my professors are like so great about anything different that I have to do, like
Yeah.
during a catheter or something. There's a few things that I just tweak a little bit. But yeah, they've been so great. And then also, like, you, Eric, have been, I think, helping me a lot, just like addressing it in a more confident way, I think.
Awesome. In the interest of, maybe getting a peek behind the curtain of, you know what I mean, like what goes on in instructors and that sort of thing, I
Mhm.
mean, I have, all you guys, I've got 9 of you. It's wonderful. All the things we go, I get into rooms with each of you, hopefully. And I'm, in a room with you, Ainsley. And I notice, you know what I mean? We're nurses. We observe, we
Yeah.
see, and if we're worth our weight in gold, we're seeing that you can't shut off the nursing brain. We've always talked about that. But like, so obviously I see your right hand is different than your left hand, and there's
Mhm.
issues and that maybe you're gonna need to navigate. And I'm like, how do I bring this up? How do I do this tactfully? How do I talk about it? Do I bring it up? Do we just let it go? Well, I don't know. Like, and so even in people who are, you know what I mean? I'd like to say I've had a lot of experience of being surprised by things and working with patients and all the things. And yet there's still, like you said, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm noticing it. I'm not going to stare at it, but then also in what degree, we're going to have to talk about it. So how do I best do that? And so for, you talk about people looking and that sort of thing. I guess, let me ask you this then. As someone who is, now that your hand has literally become a focal point of what you're doing,
Mhm.
what advice would you have for anyone who's listening going, I also have X, Y, or Z, this thing that is noticeable, this thing that may even challenge, not hinder or prevent, but challenge my performance. What advice would you have for that person, whether it be about just the confidence or even the practicality of working through that?
For confidence, the biggest thing, like, and I know I kind of alluded to it, but like genuinely, the people around me have helped me be confident so much that I think like really leaning in to that, and it's into like the people who build my confidence, or like
Good.
Vanessa, who's like, well, maybe what if you like did this? And I'm like, oh, that actually is really helpful. Like, I think like finding those people, or even like leaning into those people who build confidence and also like have ideas for like how you could go about it. And so that has been great for me. And growing up, that was like my family and my friends. And now it's like my friends and my professors now that I'm not around my family. And
Yeah.
so definitely that. And then also, I this is something that I did at the beginning of the semester, but every time I like realized that I was hiding it, like I always just use my left hand to talk or something, and like
Yeah.
this one's always like here. I try super hard to be like, okay, no, use your other hand, don't sit on it or hide it and stuff. I think learning those moments where you're kind of subconsciously hiding it, or maybe downplaying it a little bit, I think could really bring confidence up, for just showing that that's who you are and that's something that is a part of you. And then skills wise, I just think that's something I had to learn with every single new skill. It's like
Mm.
whenever we're learning it, I guess professors would always be like, use your dominant hand for this and then use your non dominant hand for this. And then I'm like, okay, wait, I might have to do opposite. Or
Yeah.
my gloves, I like tuck in because they're just way too long. Yeah. So I feel like every new skill, just have a mindset of this might have to be a little different. And that's completely okay, as long as you're still being clean and sterile and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Principles not going by the wayside, but adapting. I think that's the word, right? Adapting to the
adapting.
whatever
Yes.
each situation is. That is so amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
for being open with that, Ainsley, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have, insecurities regardless, right? Yours just
Yeah.
happens to be forefront
Yeah.
when it comes to nursing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are other things that people can hide, whether it's internal or external, but things like that and not
Yeah.
hideable. I'm going to turn the spotlight back on to Vanessa because there was something under that you had talked about that you want to talk about as far as there are things for current or future nursing students to look forward to. What does that topic mean to you? What is it that you want to share in regards to that?
I think during prereqs, I felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. It just felt like I'm doing all of this work. I'm going through A&P and microbiome and all of these really hard classes, and I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just taking the classes. So getting into nursing school definitely felt like, I mean, I use A&P every single day. So it's like, okay, it was actually useful. I went through all of that for a reason. So definitely look forward to that because the classes you're taking, they are worth something and that you do use them. Um, that was the biggest, like, for me when I got into nursing school, I was like, okay, like it was, those 2 years were well spent. Um, and also when you're in nursing school, you make so many friends. We all say that we get trauma bonded because, I mean, you go through so much hard stuff together and no one else, like your family can't relate to that.
Right.
I know mine can't. I mean, I'm a first gen, so they like my family. My mom went to college for a little bit, but no one's a nurse. No one knows what this is like except for the people I'm doing it with. So being able to relate to people is a really big thing, and it definitely helps a lot too.
Very, very well said. And I love that, like, because a lot of times you go through prereqs and you feel like these are just hoops you have to jump through. Some students go so far as to think that these are stop gates that, you know what I mean, that the college or university or instructor are trying to weed people out at. And hopefully that's not the case. You know what I mean? I'd love to say that nobody's doing that, but I'd be a fool to say that's true. But they really are there for a reason. That foundation has existed for a very long time. And the reason why we still do it is because then you reach a point where you're going, oh, I see where this is useful. Wonderful. I love it. Before we close in our traditional manner, was there anything, any other topic, anything that I didn't cover that I didn't ask you guys or that you guys wanted to make sure that other nursing students, other nurses heard?
I would say it's good to be hard on yourself, but don't be too hard on yourself because I'm very good at being too hard on myself. But as students, we make mistakes. That just comes with the territory.
Wait, I'm
And
sorry.
you
Could you say
just,
that again? What was that? You make, what was this word?
mistakes.
Mistakes. Oh, what does that feel like? I've never heard that before.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never done it.
Oh,
So
eventually we'll find out. I don't know. Someone out
someday.
there, call in, tell us what a mistake is. I'm just kidding. Keep going.
But I mean, it is a real thing, whether it's in clinical or lab or um, like you fail a test. It's not the end of the world. You just have to take that and learn from it. Um, and as students, I feel like we're very intimidated in clinical to make mistakes. And that's a very
Yeah.
valid concern because, I mean, you're like, it could affect somebody's life, you know? So it is important to be cautious, but just also understand that if you don't get an IV on the first try or you can't figure out how to whatever, like it's okay. You're still learning. So
Yeah.
give yourself grace and understand that that's just part of being in school.
I would say for me, definitely allow yourself to have a lot of fun with it as well. Even in nursing school, in clinical, respectfully, obviously, but there's a lot of fun moments with patients. There's some conversations that are just fun, or there's conversations
Mm-hmm.
that you're like, oh, I'm probably going to tell Vanessa some of that conversation later. And so definitely I think allowing yourself to have fun because there's a lot of moments that aren't. So, um yeah, allow yourself to have fun, allow yourself to laugh. Um yeah.
I love that. And I'll piggyback off of that just briefly because it reminds me of one of my very first, like, I think it was second quarter. And, you know, the emphasis in class on the classroom side of things was okay, as you're going into these med surg clinicals and da da da, you know, make sure that you're addressing patients the way they want to be addressed, you know, Mr.
Yeah.
Smith, Mrs. Smith, first name, whatever. And I go in and I'm like, okay, I am really, if I get nothing else right today on this clinical shift, I am going to make sure that I do that. And I'm going to do it the best that I can. So I go into this guy's room. He's sitting, his back is to me, big long beard, ponytail. Like this guy's gruff and just a rough and tough guy, which is anyone who knows me knows is pretty much the opposite of what I am. And so I go in and I'm like, hello, Mr. Smith, whatever his name was. And I said, my name's Eric. I'll be your nursing student today. And I'm so excited to take care of you. And, how would you like to be addressed? Would you like to be named John or Mr. Smith? I'll never forget. He doesn't miss a beat. He doesn't look at me. He just kind of turns his head halfway and he says, you can call me Jackass for all I care. And I said, okay, sir. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I want to stay in nursing school. So, but I appreciate that. But we both had a good laugh and it kind of broke the tension. So it's those kind of stories that you just lean into them, have fun with it, even when you think you are dying and not like the farthest away from having fun. So, with that, you guys, the traditional closing questions. Each of you chose 3 words that you use to describe nursing school. And so, if you guys don't mind, what words were they that you chose and why did you pick them?
Okay, first one I chose was demanding. I felt like it was the most obvious to me. I picked it just because I don't think I knew I was like before going into the last 2 years of college and full on nursing school. Beforehand, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be tough. And I'd talk to my mom and be like, yeah, it's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be hard. But like actually going in, I'm like, oh, there is a lot of pressure to like be getting like clinically compliant in time. There's a lot of like timeline that you have to like match up and then making sure that your skills are correct and just right. And so I feel like demanding is definitely something I feel. Um, and it wasn't something that I was expecting to be so like challenging and hard.
My first word was revealing. Because I feel like you learn a lot about yourself, whether that be as a person or also who you are professionally. And I think in nursing school too, a lot of us figure out where we want to go after graduation. And you also learn a lot about yourself when it comes to studying because studying for A&P is so much different than studying for
Yeah.
a nursing class because they're just set up completely different. So you learn a lot about yourself and you grow a lot. So,
Okay, my next one I definitely took from Vanessa because she filled this out. She had told us first, but I'm definitely copying it because I think it's so true, which is rewarding. Um, I feel like as much as it's demanding and hard and you just long days and a lot of pressure, just changing a bed for a patient, I literally feel so good afterwards. I'm like, okay, they're in a clean bed, they have clean clothes on, they're bathed. It just feels so good to be helping, even just comfort wise. Um, and not even being a full on nurse yet. I'm like, it just feels great. And knowing that all the things, all the hard work I've put in, I is going towards making other people feel good. So yeah, definitely rewarding.
I guess I can piggyback off of that. I would definitely say the same exact thing and then also circling back to like you learn all of these things in your prereqs and now you're getting to use them. So that feels rewarding. Like you went through all of that work and it did pay off. And also just you gain so many skills that you can use obviously in um clinical, but you gain more skills. That goes back to revealing too. So you gain skills professionally and personally, and you also gain so many friendships. So overall, just
Yeah.
everything about nursing is just so rewarding.
Okay, the last one I chose was absurd. Definitely chose this one because Vanessa and I do have a notebook of things that happen that are just whack. I think my favorite, like my actual favorite memory in clinical is I had never even seen a bedpan before. And our nurse told us to clean it out. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, I guess. And so I see a hose, and I'm like, I'm assuming this is right. And Vanessa's in the bathroom with me, and we're like, I'm assuming this is correct, hopefully. So I grabbed the hose, and I guess I really underestimated how strong the lever
Oh
is.
no.
And I just sprayed Vanessa top to bottom, soaking wet, soaking wet, and the whole bathroom is wet. And for 1 second, I think she thought it was poop. And I think she was like,
Yeah, I
I don't
did.
know. That's what she told me. So I felt bad for 1 second because I was like, that's terrifying.
I also wasn't looking, which is why I thought it, like I was like looking somewhere else, and then I just felt wetness on me. I was like, what is that?
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't know. That after we got past the second of, oh gosh, what happened? Because everything's soaking wet. Now we have to actually clean up. After that, I think we just like laughing and being like, this is just something that another major would never have to go through during
Oh
school.
my gosh.
Like,
And we still laugh about it.
Yeah, we still laugh. So
I just love that there exists a
crazy.
notebook of this. Like, this is incredible that you just kind of keep these memories tucked away.
Yes,
it's also filled with quotes from nurses and doctors that, because especially in geriatrics, they just say some out-of-pocket stuff, and it's like I have to remember this forever.
Yeah.
Okay, my last word was tiring, which kind of feels like a dip in energy, I guess, but I mean, it's true because you have long clinical hours, you have lots of studying, but the reason I said this is because it's important to recognize that it is tiring, so you know to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're going to get burnout and you're not going to be able to handle it. So you need to take care of yourself if you want to enjoy it and get the most out of it.
Yes, 100%. Oh, you guys, I love the words and I love the reasons why. It's fantastic. But for whatever reason, nobody paid attention to anything you had to say, and I feel bad about that. And they just fast forwarded all the way to here because they want just that one nugget, that one thing you want them to remember for the rest of their lives that they can put in their little notebook. What's the one thing you want someone to take away after listening to your episode?
Okay. My one thing to take away from this episode is finding those people that support you and also make you laugh and you have fun with, and that people that challenge you and make you work harder. Finding those people and just really like leaning into relationship with them. It has helped me so much, and Vanessa's been such a strong friend in my life for nursing, and I am so grateful. So definitely that.
Thanks, Ainsley. You've also been a good friend, I guess.
Thanks.
Just joking. I would say advocate for yourself, whether that be in clinical and for your patients, of course. But just like I said earlier, setting boundaries with people and being able to say no to friends if you need to study or if you need to take time to just reset. It's okay to say no. Advocate for yourself because you need to take care of yourself in order to gain anything out of it. So,
yeah.
Very well said, you guys. This has been such a wonderful time. Like, that's just my own excuse to get to hang with you guys a little bit longer outside of the clinical that's already done. But no, I can't thank you guys enough for taking time on your spring break, of all things, to sit here and talk nursing and nursing school. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
Have learned to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And over time, I started out in EMS, and as a new EMT, I was super uncomfortable with some of the situations I was put in. I was like, I do not know what I'm doing. And I just learned to work my way through it. And same with nursing school. I was a first generation college student, and I had nobody really to walk me through that. And so I remember walking into the college, telling them what I wanted to do, and just also being uncomfortable with that. And it's just kind of, as long as if you're staying where you're comfortable, you're never going to grow. And it's all about putting yourself out there and getting uncomfortable and learning to be okay with that.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Want to know more about the Feeding Our Young movement? Check out our website at feedingouryoung.org. Would you like to be featured on a future episode? Maybe have Eric bring his unique brand of encouragement to your nursing students or nurses? Please text us at 509-666-5636 or email us at info@feedingouryoung.org. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.